Seeing the footage.
Dropping his arms when he's coming in the break, in and out of the break. They're going to be all over that. I ain't going to critique it. Really? Nothing. It tells me nothing. So this is what we are now, Skip Bayless. We're talking about a guy in 7-on-7 drill. This is what it's come to. We're talking about a guy on 7-on-7. And now, last I checked, now I was in a lot of 7-on-7 drills. I don't remember blocking a defensive end in 7-on-7. I don't remember blocking one. So you go, basically, I mean, I can't even believe you, Skip. I can't believe you got me. You got me.
You can hit that sled, though. Woo. Did you see that?
No, I did not see that.
Power. Did you see what he weighs? 255? Are you kidding?
Skip, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And this is about, well, he's improving. Okay, so what's his baseline? What is he improving from? I mean, you've never seen him play the position. I mean, true story, Skip, when I took my dog, I ended up having to put Tonka Man down. And I took him to the vet. And they're like, well, he's improving. I said, from what? Well, you know, he's alert. I said, can he move his back legs? No, well, he's not improving.
That's a problem.
Because I know what Tonka was before I brought him in there. So what is he improving from? You've never seen him play tight end. You've never seen him run routes. You've never seen him catch the football in live situations. So how can you say he's improving when you haven't seen anything? Normally, guys like get in the game, preseason game, regular season game, you're like, okay, you see it slowing down. Even a team setting. But he's improving. In 7-on-7, when he doesn't have to beat a linebacker off the line of scrimmage, or he doesn't have to maneuver. He just free release and, oh my God, really? Really? Y'all think this is good? Y'all think this is really good? He ain't pulling no safety. The safety gonna be standing right there. You gotta pump, Skip, you gotta sell it. You know, I'm just saying. No. It ain't happening. And you know it's not happening. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Skip. You really should. Today, on a Friday, you should be ashamed of yourself.
I'm ashamed I picked the Clippers, but I'm not ashamed that I picked Tim Tebow. Shannon Sharpe, this is amusing to me, but also painful for me to watch you across the table because I know what's happening, and I get it, and I am sympathetic because you're a Hall of Fame tight end. Hall of Fame. You are in hallowed Canton. Your bust is there as we speak, and it's probably speaking because it can't stop talking either.
No,
right?
yeah, I got a good group to talk to.
That is correct. And it is annoying you, and then irritating you, and then tormenting you, and angering you that Tim Tebow at age 33 is suddenly back in the National Football League playing for his college coach and switching to quote-unquote tight end. Am I right?
Yep.
I understand that, but I'm going to say this one more time. It's all sleight of hand or sleight of hand off because he's not going to play tight end. He's going to play H-back. Diana Rossini on ESPN 2 days ago reported that Tim Tebow will play quarterback in the mold of Taysom Hill, obviously in New Orleans. It'll be something like that. It'll be a lot more like what Tebow did for Urban Meyer when he was a freshman at Florida, when Chris Leak was the unquestioned starting quarterback of what became a national championship team. I'm going to tell you again, in that year, Tebow averaged 2.4 passes per game. I'm not even sure he'll get that. He might get one pass every once in a while on a trick play sort of formation in short yardage or goal line, jump pass as he used to throw when he was a freshman. That year, he averaged 10.8 yards per attempt, which is pretty great. And he threw 5 touchdown passes to only 1 interception in very few attempts. He ran it that year 6.4 times a game in 14 games. That's a lot. That's a lot more than he's going to do for this team. But they used him in key play situations, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, goal line, 4th and 1, 4th and 2. And in this case, Urban is doing with Tebow what he's doing with ETN, the high pick, obviously late first-round pick. He has ETN lining up at wide receiver because he's trying to turn him into Percy Harvin. You remember Percy Harvin at Florida. He was just, I remember him in pro football. He was just devastating. But you use him as a slot back. Sometimes you line him up in the backfield. But you, like with Tebow, you got to get him ready to catch short passes because what they'll do, they'll line him up at H-back. They'll swing it to him every once in a while. They'll screen it to him every once in a while, And they'll throw him maybe every once in a while a flat pass, just a little 2-yard out route, right?
Okay.
I'm talking about 3rd and 2.
Right.
So that's all you need to do. You're not a tight end because you don't have Shannon Sharpe in you. That's laughable to me.
You don't think he'll go down and catch a seam?
No, he will not catch any seams. I could be wrong about that, but I just sincerely doubt it. And for 255, he runs pretty well. Just okay. I watched him one day. I told you at Dedeaux Field at USC in his baseball audition back in, that would be August of 2016. I watched, he ran in the outfield, and I think it was a legit 40-yard, and a bunch of people were stopwatching him, and he ran 4.6, which was pretty good. I think he was 240-ish at that point. So he's bulked up a little bit, but he is a wrecking ball of competitive fury. That's who he is. And Urban knows that, and he's going to try to tap into that fury, that, as I told you, force of competitive nature on key plays. So it's as simple as that. That's why he's going to have a roster spot just for designated plays. And will Trevor Lawrence love it? He'll like the result of it. He won't love, as Drew Brees couldn't have loved Taysom Hill taking some snaps.
But let this sink in. The team that drafted the #1 pick overall, which is a quarterback, is getting less talked about. We're not talking about what he's doing. We're talking about what a guy's doing that's come back into the league, switch position after 6 years.
Well, I got it. He is simply the most polarizing player in the history of pro football to me. And it's we can go on and on about the depth of why that is, but he just is. Nobody is more loved and loathed than Tim Tebow to this day. And what he did in 2011, it's so debatable because it was pretty extraordinary, but it ended fairly quickly, 16 starts, and never again. And then he was forced to go to baseball.
I mean, see, the thing is that what he did, he gets all the credit. What Trent Dilfer did, the defense gets all the credit. What Russ did in 2013, it was the Legion of Boom. No other quarterback has gotten credit like Tim Tebow has gotten credit, even though the defense and the special teams was exemplary. And I think that's what a lot of people have pushback. So why couldn't anyone else get credit? Why does he have to get all the credit?
Where was the defense and where were the special teams when your Broncos fell to 1-4 under Kyle Orton?
Well, he was turning Skip. You have to understand is that they changed the way they changed it. All of a sudden, they weren't throwing 30 passes a game. They were trying to run it. So they were shortening the game.
They did.
Guys made mistakes. I mean, Chicago has the game won, and Marion Barber runs out of bounds and stopped the clock. And then it took Prater to kick a 58-yard field goal to win it. So we're not talking about a 58-yard field goal. We're not talking about the mistake that a guy made that would have won them, had he not made it, would have won them the game. Well, Tebow won the game. No, Tebow didn't.
Okay, do not underestimate. I can give you the play-by-play because I know it by heart, how many big passes he completed in the last 5 minutes of that Chicago game. I give you, I don't know what Marion Barber was thinking. He saved the Broncos.
He did.
It was all on him. He could have virtually ended the game.
Yes.
And he did not. But Tebow did end the game.
Right.
And, again, setting up. And it was a 58-yard field goal. But for him in that atmosphere, that's like a chip shot.
If you're going to use that argument, where was the defense when they were losing? Well, where was the defense when we were losing? No, you can't turn the ball over. Play to your strength. And they weren't playing to their strength. They were a defensive-based football team. And Josh McDaniel was trying to beat Tom Brady. You didn't have Tom Brady.
Okay.
So you can't throw it. Kyle Orton was mistake-prone.
Okay.
But you're trying to do something because you did it in New England and had success, but you don't have the level of quarterback to operate that.
Remember, Tebow turned that offense into the #1 rushing attack in pro football.
And that's what they should have been.
He wound up, and he only started, what would that have been, 11 games, and he had 750 yards rushing as a quarterback. Right. And Willis McGahee just ran wild. He had, 1,200 yards.
And that's what they should have been all along. So, Skip, you can't. It's hard for you to get midstream, get 5, 6, 7 games into the season and change what you are. See, that's what they should have been all along. But Josh McDaniels got it in his thick head. Well, I can throw the ball. That's what I do. That's what we do. But you didn't have Tom.
Okay, but he got fired the previous year at midseason. Right. And it was mostly because of the scandal in London. And
John Fox was always scared. John Fox was always a run-first guy. And all of a sudden, he wanted to throw the ball.
Okay.
Skip, Tim Tebow did what he did. But let's not make it seem like it was the greatest thing. It was the greatest season a quarterback has ever had. That's what the problem is. You make it seem like that's the greatest season. That's the greatest 11-game stretch of football a quarterback has ever played. And that's not true.
It was the most extraordinary I've ever seen under the circumstances. And I still say in that 16-game body of work, I've never seen a greater clutch playmaker than Tebow was in all 16 of those starts, including the 3 at the end of the previous year for a bad football team.
You're making it seem like the guy was playing under duress, like somebody had his family kidnapped or something. And like if he didn't win a game, they was going to do something. Stop it, Skip.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, you talking about under the circumstances. What circumstances? He was a quarterback.
They were terrible. That's the circumstance. You realize Josh got fired the year before.
Oh, my goodness.
And I don't even know who was playing quarterback. Was it still Kyle Orton?
Kyle Orton.
Okay. But they got to the end of the year, and it's all interim, and they say, well, let's let Tebow start. And he goes to Oakland and almost has 100-yard rushing, and they lost because they were a bad team. And then Houston comes to Denver. This is his rookie year, okay? His second start, and he throws for 308 and drives them basically the length of the field at the end of the game and scores from 6 yards out to win the game 24-23 over Matt Schaub. What's wrong with that?
You see what you did?
I didn't do anything. I just spat facts.
They lost the game to Oakland. Tim Tebow started. They were a bad team. They beat Houston. Now Tim Tebow's
still a bad team.
Oh, no, that's not what you said.
Well, they were just a bad football team.
Okay.
They win like 4 games.
Then. Okay.
They were
What?
terrible.
How does it, if they lose a game, they're a bad football team. They win a game, Tim Tebow's great.
No, but you could see he was playing at a high level. He was throwing at a high level. 308, will that work? Yeah. Was it an NFL game against an NFL defense?
Yes.
Okay, and I told you, his final game at Florida, I watched the whole thing. Cincinnati was 12-0, and he throws for 482.
Brian Kelly had left and went to Notre Dame. You give the context. Okay, why didn't he throw against 482 against Bama in the SEC championship game?
Well, obviously, who does?
Okay,
no, wait, everybody does.
Oh, no.
Right?
No, not back then. St. Nick had a stank. You know, that was the beginning. That was the beginning. We ain't going to talk about why a lot of people started leaving at that conference.
Yeah, but by the way, in that SEC championship game, they lost badly. They gave up almost 250 yards rushing, Florida did.
Yeah.
So that was just, they got literally run over. Tebow had 250 yards passing and ran for almost another 100 yards. So he had almost 350 combined yards, but they got blown out because they couldn't stop the run.
How many times you get the ball in the end zone? All them yards. He got all them yards. So how many times you get the ball in the end zone?
Yeah.
You doing all that, you should have about 4, 5, 6 touchdowns, right?
Well, he threw for 482 against Cincinnati in the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans.
There's a
prime time.
Cincinnati, Alabama. Cincinnati, Alabama.
12-0. Interesting.
Skip, you know good well they were shell-shocked.
31-36?
Skip, they were shell-shocked. They were even talking about it, how Brian Kelly had left them high and dry.
Yep.
And they said, well, we know we're not going to let one coach doing what he did stop us. They were done. Once the coach left, they were done. You know it, too. You won't mention that. You still ain't mentioned that. Did Brian Kelly leave Cincinnati?
I don't really care.
See?
Was it the same guys who had gone 12-0? Yeah.
So now coaching don't matter. So if that's the case, Alabama. So how Alabama win all them titles? That they got Coach Saban, they were still Alabama before Coach Saban got there, right?
Okay, whatever. All I know is our Fox bet. They still think that Tebow the odds are will not even make the team. I might have to get me some of that.
I got
you
me some.
You might have to at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the easy prop bet. He's making the team.
Did we bring the Tebow jersey out today, or is that only special?
I got it. I decided I didn't want to wear it out.
Okay.
No.
Plus, the point is, Gardner Minshew is still there wearing 15. That ain't going to last. Mine's
okay.
85.
You cannot wear no. You're not wearing no Tebow jersey.
I
got to get a 15.
Skip.
15.
No prop. I'm the only guy to do the props, okay? I'm the prop guy.
I've got a few key props.
Really creative on Undisputed. I'm looking forward to this.
I still got the Clippers hat that Jenny gave me.
Yeah, well, apparently that was bad luck.
I wonder how that worked.
So don't throw it away, Skip.
What about the jersey?
Gift.
You know what they came out here with the jersey and the shoes?
A gift from me to you.
Sunday night I might be burning that hat.
I do not need to see that. I do not need to see that.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.